Hello world, I'm LJ and this is LJ Goes Sweden. It's the year 2025 and here is my wish list for all the stuff that I want Tesla to do this year. Here we go. The Tesla Model Y Uniper and the Model Q, or whatever it's gonna be called, the car that is supposed to be cheaper than the Model 3. For me, the Model 3 is really the car that has the most advanced features in a Tesla as of right now. Of course, we have the Cybertruck, but that is not available in Europe. Actually, I was planning to buy a Model Y before I decided for the Model 3. But I have to be honest, I was really hoping for the Model Y Uniper to appear in the year 2024, because if it would have been available, I would have bought it. Now it is not here, but I am so excited for this car. I am really planning to buy the car in the future, like not next year or 2 years. The Model 3 now, with all the interior, all the technology, the double screens, is exactly what I want. But the only thing that I miss with the car is the additional height, the panorama glass that is like going fully one piece. Just like small things that are missing. And also like the all-wheel drive. But I decided for the Model 3 Highland because it was the cheapest one and because it was my first Tesla and I just wanted to have a nice start. So when the Model Y Uniper is available, I definitely gonna test drive it. I hope I have the opportunity to take the car for a longer ride, because then I'm definitely gonna make a video with that. And of course also the cheaper car that Tesla is supposed to produce, I also want to test drive that. I'm not planning to buy it, but I definitely just want to see how much do you get for the money you're gonna spend for that one, so that I can have a good comparison for myself also. We are outside right now, so let's start with the first thing that I really would like to have, and that is the unlatch all door feature in the car. So you have the Tesla app, you can unlock your driver's door, which is already very convenient. But now just imagine you have the car sitting outside and you have a whole family and only you as a driver can get inside. Of course, like you can get in and you can make it easier to open the other doors. But having the opportunity to go in the Tesla app and have the option to there click on all the doors, to pop them open, to unlatch them, that would be amazing in my opinion. And it is a feature that is definitely possible to include in the app, but maybe they just don't want to do it because they don't want you to accidentally open the wrong door. I would love it because you also have the front and the trunk button there. So why don't you have the option to open the doors as well? Okay, so now we are inside the car, and if you have a passenger, what would be the best thing to do? You have the option that pops up on the right side of the screen and you say, hey, I am Lisa, or hey, I am Max. You click on it and the passenger seat just moves to the positioning of the passenger. Of course, there are probably passengers that are like driving once a month. Therefore, you would not really need a profile. But for example, just say like you have like your wife or your children or your boyfriend always with you in the car. Then of course it makes sense to just have this profile always available. And what I would really like to have is like this profile for ice bathing. I always put this seat to the furthest up front as possible so that I have a lot of space in the back seat where I always like change after ice bathing and also get ready for ice bathing. And I also would use this for my camping mode. I actually have a profile for the driver's seat which is called camping, so that I have more space when I put down the back seats to camp here. And I would also love to have this on this seat right there. Of course it is now way easier with the back screen, but also with the screen here that you have the seat option. But I would just like to have further profiles, and the best would be of course if you could sync profiles. So for example, that you have like a default positioning. Let's just say like I'm sitting here and then my future wife is always sitting next to me, that it automatically says, okay, the wife is probably the default seating position for the passenger. But if we switch around and she is in the driving position, then I am probably in the passenger seat. That would be really, really nice if that would work. Next on the list is actually something that Tesla has made worse in my opinion with the holiday update, and that is the diagram that is shown in the consumption. So right now you can see I have like huge spikes here. I just would like to have the option to either zoom in or that you have like the option to set what you want, to just adjust this down here from 100, 200, 300 is like the max, and then you can go like to 50. That would be really, really nice in my opinion. As of right now, you can see I haven't even reached 300 kilometers, and the average consumption there is just not as precise as it should be when you have only like smaller things. Of course, it is more precise for long distance. There are improvements that I would like to see Tesla do in 2025. Now let's just imagine you're like driving your car and you're, for example, in a conversation with other people in the car, and one of you is thinking like going to a vacation to, I don't know, Mongolia, for example. And you're thinking about it and you're just not sure if it is safe to go to Mongolia, I don't know why. Then the thing that would be really handy in this case is to have a voice assistant, a smart voice assistant that you can just ask, that gives you small inputs. Of course, someone could just grab the phone if you have like passengers and they could Google it. But it would be nice to just have like a short summary that the car would respond to, like a ChatGPT or a Gemini. So I think XAI is working on Grok, their own version of Gemini and ChatGPT. But I would really, really love to have the smart assistant in a Tesla by the end of 2025. Because that is a feature that is huge. This is like not just one individual feature that makes your car, of course, more comfortable and easier to use. This is like a whole new world of features that comes to this point. So of course you could ask like, what is something nice that you could see on the way to this, and then it selects certain spots based on training data. I would love to have a smart voice assistant in the car. I would really, really love to do that. A minor fix that I would love to see for the Model 3 Highland specifically is when you're driving on the autopilot, then you have only the option to increase or decrease the speed to the speed limit by scrolling up and down on the scroll wheel. So, but when you're driving, you usually have like the speed shown up here. And in the older cars, you could just hold this button and it would set the speed to this. Or you could like use one of the stalks to just hold it down and it would adjust to the speed limit. But now, with the car here, you don't have this option anymore. And that is a bit annoying in my opinion, because you always have to scroll, and if it's going like from an 80 kilometers zone to like a 50, then you have to scroll a lot to get down to the level. What I would really love to see is either you have the opportunity to add the feature and the hold down button right here. For example, now I have like the glove box open button there. So if you hold it there, then you can go like to the menu. I would like to have it added somewhere here so that you can actually just go and hold the button to set the car instantly to the speed of the traffic sign. Or the other option would be to have the right button that you press once or press twice to activate the autopilot, to also have a hold feature here that sets the speed of the autopilot to the traffic signs. But because this is of course very frickly, because if you don't hold it too long, the autopilot might deactivate. So I would actually recommend it to just have it as an option here for all the people who want to use it. Because in my opinion, that is an easy solution that I would just love to have in the car, because that would make the autopilot even easier to use. Something else that is specific for the Model 3 Highland, but it's probably also going to be for the Model Y Juniper and maybe also the Cybertruck, is more usage of the light bar right here. So I have actually deactivated it right now because I don't use it that much, because the problem that I have with the light bar is it just glows. It looks nice, but it doesn't give me any feature. It is just there, existent. But if you activate it, like I do right now, I have it green, I would love to have features in here. And if you know the sexy buttons, which are like an additional thing that you can put in your Tesla, you can actually modify the light bar already to do things that I would love Tesla to include themselves. For example, if you set the blinker and there's a car next to you, the light bar on this side turns red so that you know, okay, you should not go. Of course, you have the LED dot in here in the speaker there, but to just have like the whole side turn red, or like would even be more amazing if the car is passing you, the red line also goes forward, like in the end, of course. Like in the beginning it should be red everywhere so that you know, okay, I should not do it right now. But in the end, I would love to see that. And also something else that other manufacturers like Volkswagen, for example, already do is have the light bar be a help, a guidance in navigation. I'm a person, I love to basically put everything in my navigation. I just love to have this knowledge when I arrive somewhere and how much energy do I have at this point. So I just do it all the time. But I hate the navigation voice. I just don't like this. In 200 meters, turn right. In 300 meters, hold on the left lane and continue driving or something like this. I just don't like that. And sometimes, because I deactivate the navigation voice, I just miss my exit, especially like if I'm talking to people or I'm just listening to music or to a podcast. And what I would like to have is that the light bar gives some kind of information if you have to take an exit or turn left or right by like changing the color, lining to one side, that it is more obvious, okay, I have to make a change now. That would be something that I would really like, and I know Tesla can include it, but maybe they're just waiting to have the Model Y as well, because I think they're gonna do it in the future. I really think they will be doing that because it just makes sense. Unfortunately, sometimes it just takes years, but I would love to see this feature. One last wish that I really have is regarding FSD. And here we have two things that I would love to see. First of all, let's just talk about full self-driving in general. I don't think that full self-driving, the way we know it in America, will come to Europe in the next 3 to 5 years, unfortunately. So here are two things that I wish Tesla would do. Number one, FSD visualization in all Teslas, no matter if you have the FSD or not. So if you're not living in America, you basically know that when you're driving, you see nice cars around you and you see sometimes the lines and cones, but it just is not the same as having this FSD visualization like you have in America. Of course, it is more stuff going on the screen that could catch your attention and take it away from the road, but I just would love to have the car show me what it can actually show me. And yeah, I'm really sad that we don't have that yet. I don't even think the people who buy FSD in Europe or like around the world have it, to be honest. I think it's only like limited to America and Canada. But at least give the people who bought this package for full self-driving the visualization in Europe. At least do that if you cannot give them the feature itself. That would be the minimum. Same thing here. That is like the other feature that I wanted to talk about. The feature of an AI-trained autopilot. So the problem basically in Europe is that the Tesla is not allowed to do turns and to basically like yield for other cars and then continue driving. It is just allowed to stay in the lane, and you can make like lane changes, but you still always have to do some kind of interaction that tells the car, okay, I am allowed to do that. May it be, I think it's like BMW, that you like turn your head and then the car says, okay, now I can change lanes. Or that you like hold down on the side or press the blinker to actually tell the car, hey, I want to do these things. And what I would love to see is basically full self-driving, but just based on the things of like straight roads. So if the car is not allowed to take turns, well, then give us the option that the car can drive straight and still have like the draining knowledge of the AI, of the full self-driving basically, that you can go straight and the car finds the lane itself and it stops and maybe even like goes around cars. But if that's already too much, then just limit it to driving straight and on the lines. Just make this feature more available for everyone, because that would be amazing. And I don't expect Tesla to give this like to all the people who buy a Tesla, but at least give this to the people who bought full self-driving. The problem, however, I see with this is, how do you tell the AI to now give back control to the driver when there's a turn to be made? Because if you train AI at a certain part, you are ending up in a black box, and there you have no control over why is the car doing these things. I think it is pretty difficult to tell like an AI, okay, if there's now a turn, stop doing the thing you would love to do, basically. So I don't think it is a possibility, but I would love to see that. But these are the wishes. So do you have any specific wish for your Tesla that you would love to see Tesla include in the year 2025. Realistic ones or also unrealistic ones, but that are like dreams for you. For me, it's definitely like full self-driving. That would be the one where I would just instantly say I would buy it. But unfortunately, that is not on Tesla's side. This is more on the European Union and regulations. But it is a whole different story. So I hope you guys had a wonderful day. We're gonna see each other back in the next video. But until then, have a good one. Bye bye.